Today is January 12th, 2026. I'm wearing this coat that finally arrived that I got on Temu. I might have to return it. I'm not sure if I like it or not, because there's no way to cinch this. So this will fall off on the bike. It'll just go like that. So I don't know if I should return this. I was hoping there'd be like a drawstring or something. I didn't even consider that. And this is a little high. I don't know. I don't know whether to keep this coat or sell it, but I just got it. When I got home late tonight, it was sitting out front, so I put it on just to see how comfortable it is and see how warm it is. So I don't know. I still might keep it because it's the right length for riding a bike. It's a little shorter. It's not quite cropped, so that is the right length. But I would like to be able to use the hood. At least I've got this hat, so I guess I don't absolutely need it. But okay. So that's why. Let me know. Is this a good coat or not? I mean. So I'm trying to remember. There's always stuff I forget. I gotta write something else that happened. I'm gonna forget. Now, I think, were wiretapping me when I went out with, when I invited Bike Man to the church and the gym. He was wearing a wire, and he gave that recording to the witches and warlocks. They're involved with him coming. So God allowed him to come and try to get me, but he's not going to. And then he had a wire on to record me and give all that information to the witches and warlocks. So now they all know that I go to Planet Fitness, and Planet Fitness probably has a lot of new memberships now, and there's some criminals in there. But the good thing is the whole place is safe. They can't do anything. But anyways, I showed up. I thought it was going to be late for breakfast. I was going to be like 1 or 2 minutes late or something, but I showed up, and it was good. And I saw like a good person leaving as I was coming in, and they just said something to me, which might mean that it was safe. I don't know. The verse today was 1 Peter 4-10. Use your gift to serve others. Like, if you know how to fix a car, why don't you? This was brought up a couple of times. It was the same sermon as for dinner. It was a good sermon, and also being good stewards again. And the manager there, was talking about talents, and he said his talent was being a good writer or teacher. He thought so. Let's see here. Now, as soon as his sermon was over, like, there was music, but it wasn't on during the sermon. So I don't even know if it was on before then. It might have been quiet. And then they just play like some background music while we eat. It's not incredibly loud or anything. But as soon as the sermon was over, then we get in line to eat, and then the radio comes on. And it has that same song that I heard last week. I even made a video about this. You don't hear this song very often, but it played like once last week, and today it was the first song on as we got into line. And it was that one like with... where it's about the biblical flood, 40 days drowning, and it's like where the Nephilims are drowning, like the devils are drowning, the demons are drowning. So that 40 days drowning in the flood song, which is actually a Christian song, that was on the radio. This does not play very often, actually. I have listened to the radio in there, and I didn't hear it play like the whole time until last week and then today, so okay. I think that is significant. It was the first song to play. And that is like basically the Nephilims and demons drowning and dying. That is a sad song, I think, because we wanted them to repent, but they refused. But it's also a sign of victory for God's people, because they were terrorizing the believers. So anyways, I got my food. And the same man that we had a theological discussion with, a very long theological discussion, he was there again, And so then we talked. Now, I think that there were gang members there. And so he was probably sent to talk to me. And that kept me there so long that the gang members that were watching me eventually left. I think this is God's plan. So, I mean, maybe that man was in there before and I never really paid attention. He looks a little younger. It says he's about 30, but I think he looks like younger than that. But he's not. He says he believes in God, but then he kind of doesn't. but I don't know. He says something like Buddhist, but then he acts kind of like an atheist. But sometimes he says he believes in God. It's not. He's actually not contradicting himself. It's kind of weird. He just doesn't like. He just sees like maybe the universe is God, or when you see love, that's God, or when you see a human, that's God. It's like God is more than that, though. So he's limiting God, and but if he says he's atheist or something, I don't know. It's kind of like he's open, but he has not done his research yet. So it's kind of like he's just having a discussion and debate with me. This is probably some other test, but God is using this opportunity to test me. I don't know whether to keep this coat or not. I mean, it seems pretty warm, but I don't know. Maybe it's not the warmest. Anyways, I've got two younger sisters that they have picked a side, and it is not the right side. But anyways, their names put together is this man's name. Actually, so I've got two younger sisters. So this man I've been talking to, his name is their names put together, but like minus one syllable. So one of my sister's full name plus half of my other sister's name put together is his name. And I'm like, what's your name? I'm like, what? And I asked him how to spell it, and when he told me, I'm like, and I told him, hey, that my sister's name are this. It's so weird. So I think he was sent. So we get into this long discussion, and then the gang members that were watching me would have to leave. They couldn't stay all day. They got stuff to do. Eventually they leave, and we're still talking for a little while. And our discussion would continue until they left. And maybe this is how God was protecting me that day. Because I'm not going to leave in the middle of a theological discussion. I used to really enjoy these. I just haven't had them much. Like, it was many years ago. And also, I think it was like, there's something like a couple weeks ago. Well, I don't know exactly when I prayed. Like, I'm trying to always tell the truth. But if there's something that I'm not right about, then let me know. Like, have an angel tell me or something. If there's something I'm not right about, let me know. And I prayed this. And so I'm thinking maybe this was an answer to my prayer. And the timing was when I needed to hang around the soup kitchen longer. So then, like, or was it yesterday? Well, anyways, maybe it was last week because it's Monday. Yeah, last week when this man was there talking with me, then, and he said, like, something about all different religions, and does it matter which one? And so there was a man sitting like 3 or 4 seats down, just like looking forward, maybe reading something like reading a newspaper, just sitting there. He's not even looking. It looks like he's not paying attention, but he's clearly there. Okay? And he didn't say anything to us, and he didn't look at us. But the one question I wasn't sure about the answer, and I answered, he went like, ahem. So this was the angel sent to let me know. We have this like hour-long theological debate, and I prayed, God, if I'm not right about something, let me know. Have an angel tell me. Tell me, because I don't get it. I don't need to see little signs. Tell me so I get it. I got this. So, like, because none of them are exactly correct. Okay, and that's what I was going. I said, if any of them make you a better person or whatever, then, But this was incorrect. And then I got the knowledge today as to what the true religion is. So then when it says if you're Jewish, Christian, or Muslim, or Hindu, or and so basically if it has you follow God's law and being a better person, I guess it doesn't really matter. Then this man was like, And then I said, well, actually, but Christianity has a lot more information about the end times. And so God answered me, it does matter. Judaism is not the answer. In Hindu and Buddhism. So then what I said today, I believe is correct. I had it, and then I thought about it. And so, because this was just asked to me really quick, and then I answered it really quick. But I wasn't, and I actually, as I said it, I'm like, I think this is right, but I don't even know. Because I've been shown lies in all the Christian churches, so I didn't really know. And then today, I said, I think I know that. I said, I know the answer to this one now. Know the answer to this one now. The answer is the true religion is like Christianity with the Quran added to the Bible, and with like the Buddhist and those beliefs like as added to the Bible too. Like you don't even need to add those though, but what I'm saying is that you could add that to it too, and it wouldn't really make a difference. But you got like the Christian Bible, and you add the Quran to it, and so this is what I answered, and I believe is to be correct, as God had showed me. You have the Christian Bible. It's 66 or 77 books. Then you add the Quran to that. It goes right in there, and that so the correct religion would be a reformed Christianity that does not worship Jesus and his blood sacrifice, because that is not how you get to heaven. That is not how you get to heaven. The devils and demons that have sinned are trying to manifest their way into heaven by crucifying and persecuting Christ. So they try to manifest, they get into heaven through Jesus's and Christ's suffering. And then they cause the people with the Holy Spirit and the light to suffer. And then they try to manifest and speak that into being. This is wild, but I know what they are doing. I know what they are doing. They'll even have a whole sermon where everything's true, but then they do this. It's just nuts. Anyway, so then I told him today, and that question yesterday wasn't sure, but today I think I know the true religion. It's Christianity with the Quran added to the Bible. And it's, you can take it, because if you're Buddhist, you can add that to it too. Because that's, and he mentioned something else about Buddhism, asking me a bunch of questions today. Just sitting there asking me questions. It's like, very strange. I've never seen anyone like this man. Never. So I think something's up. God has sent him. And probably just to have me stay around the soup kitchen another hour, and then the gang members leave. And it's also a test. And it's like also like if I asked, am I wrong on something? Well, so far it's pretty good, because I talked for 2 hours, and then one thing is, yeah, it does matter which religion. Is right now Christianity needs reformed. It's not right. But once it's reformed, that will be that will be correct, because they got like the book of Revelations, and there's other books in the Bible that have end times prophecies. So the Quran is just, the Quran is not even like really, like you could use it as a standalone book, but it's more like it's the instruction manual, and it clarifies and confirms things in the Bible. So it's sent to like to fix like misinterpretations and misunderstandings about the Bible. If you read the Quran, then it will explain. It says, in light of this Quran, you will understand the Bible. Things where people could interpret multiple ways. Read the Quran, then you'll know which one is right. That's basically what it says. And so yeah. And then, I said, like, Buddhism and this stuff, it's like, it's incomplete. It's truth from God, but it's incomplete. It's like, you need more information. So it could be a part of Christianity, but on its own. Like it's like this man here, he like seemed to agree and like what I was saying. And then the other man who came up with me, and I believe he was trying to curse me with his handshake last week. And I said, I saw him reach his hand out to shake it. And I said, everybody's trying to curse me, so I got to be careful. And I did not shake his hand. He was trying to curse me, I know. He wasn't offended when I didn't shake his hand. He wasn't surprised when I said that. And I saw his hand, and I was like, everybody's trying to curse me, so I'm not. He knew, and I know they can curse you by shaking your hand, because they did that to me at the church. I didn't know they could do that until I went to the church, and there was a narcissist deacon or something. I don't know what his position is, but then he shook my hand, and then then I got a curse or spell on me. So then I know I can't just shake anyone's hand. Like, if you just meet someone the first time, you can. But I had seen this man before, and he was sent to hit on me. And so he's already sent by the kingdom of darkness, whether he knows it or not. Sometimes they don't know. Sometimes their demons just, make them interested in you because they're trying to like sidetrack you or something. But anyways, then we were talking a long time, and then he kind of sits next to us, and then I kind of invite him into the conversation. Now, the man I was talking to, he didn't seem very pleased about this. He didn't seem very pleased, because, see, this other man was not as intelligent. And then I noticed this man I was speaking to, and I thought I was doing pretty well at the questions, actually. But I don't know, like, if he, I really don't know. Like, he says he's human and stuff, and he says he has another body, he's seen it, and this weird stuff. I don't know what's going on. So, he could be an enemy, or he could be a good person. If he's an enemy trying to get information from me, that's fine. Because I'm just telling him what I know to be truth of the spirit realm and truth from God. So this isn't like, that's good, I will share it with him. But then this other man comes and sits, and I try to involve him, and then the guy I was talking to is a little, and then he gets a little condescending, but not extremely so, but just, like, I could see it. This man that I invited to, because he sat there, and I said, he was not he was not, like, highly intellectual or anything, and, like, he wasn't able to answer certain questions. And so the person I had been talking to kind of, he's like, if they have anything to add to the conversation. He was kind of saying things like that. And at one point, they kind of were going at each other a little bit. He wasn't happy because he intellectually wasn't there, but I said a few things like, and you can teach others, when you know things, they can teach you and you can teach them. I tried making it clear, like, and then, like, because we were kind of, like, subtly saying these things. And he's like, yeah, if some people are not capable of understanding it, maybe they just have never heard it before. So even if he doesn't understand now, like, maybe they have never heard somebody speak this way, and it will help them to do so. So anyways, like, this was something I saw in that man. So I could say, this is something that could be improved. Like, he was playing the devil's advocate, getting me involved in a debate, and I was just telling him the truths as I know it, as I believe to be truth. And we had a long conversation last week, and then there was just a man sitting, like, 4 seats down, like, looking forward at something. And then when I answered the one thing, and I said, I'm not really sure, and I just answered it quickly. So this was God too. I didn't take a second to think about it. I wasn't 100% sure on this, and I answered quickly. And then the man was like, when I said that. So God made me answer it quickly without thinking. And I knew in my mind, I'm not really sure. And then, so he didn't do this for anything else. So that was God to let me know that the correct, and I said today, I said, now I believe the correct religion is Christianity with the Quran added to the Bible. And also understanding that some of the books, it's showing us what the enemy is doing. Like, because Pharaoh had slaves, that doesn't mean God allows, like, slavery. Okay, you know what they do to you, you do back to them. So if they're taking you as a slave and you're in a war, then you have to do the same. And then you can trade your prisoners of war to get your people back. So it's because they started that you have to do the same thing back. Otherwise, they're just going to keep doing it and they don't care. But when that threat comes, so it's in retaliation to what the enemy is doing, essentially. But because the Pharaoh is taking slaves, doesn't mean that God wants us to have slaves. Okay? So you don't try to copy what Pharaoh does. He was oppressing the Jews. And you don't, like, I forget, King Ahasuerus, okay? He had just a huge harem of all these wives. Okay, that doesn't mean that that's what God wants. That was not what God wanted. He was almost the king of the entire world. He was almost a world leader at that point. And he was a pagan disbeliever. This is what some of these stories are about, pagan disbelievers and the horrible things they did. And so today, without context, religious leaders are telling us, like, trying to explain away why, things were different back then. No, these are in there to show us the atrocities the disbelievers and pagans did. Okay, you don't copy it. So it's like you gotta know a few things to understand. Because the Bible gives you a lot of information. But you have to know, this person is good, this is a believer, this is a disbeliever. That's not taught. You actually have to look at it and think a little bit. Because it's not taught. Because there are so many evil spirits that want to misuse this text to make us think that God is not righteous and God is unfair. when the exact opposite is true. Anyway, so I had a good long conversation with him. There was the song, as soon as we stand up to get into line, about the drowning Nephilims in the flood, the demon spirits. That was good. And so eventually I had to leave. Now this man was just going to stay there. And I even mentioned too, like, you have a bike? And he did not. And I guess something happened to his bike, or somebody popped his tires like a while back, and I'm not gonna get another one. Why? So that can happen again. And I said, you could even just there's one you can get from this charity for free. Just go right in that office. And so they'll do it again. And I'm like, so then you get to use it a couple weeks, or they'll fix it. And then like he just kept, so he didn't want to do it. And it's like, okay, but if I was you, I would get it. Okay, there's something else going on there. But anyways, he stayed in that cafeteria until dinner time. So lunch is at 11:30, and he stayed there till dinner at 4:30. And we did talk for a while. Honestly, we talked for like 2 hours today. And there was like new people that might have been gang member watchers, okay, in there. And they were kind of looking around where I was, okay. But we had such a long conversation, they eventually left. And there was another man sitting in the back, and then he fell asleep again. Then he gets up, and they have to go. They have to go. It's 2 hours later. And so I'm thinking maybe that's why God sent this. And it's doing multiple things at once. So anyways, I do then go to the gym, and now I've got to hurry, because I have just enough time to get there, do a couple things, and then come back and leave. So when I get to the gym, like, I do what I want to do, and then I go to get in the massage chair real quick before I go. And then there is a big man, and he gives me a look like he's a criminal. So I got to use massage chair 11. There was already a man in massage chair 10. It's just right next. And he is like a big Hulk looking guy, and he's got like an evil criminal look on his face. And then I walk in. And then once I sit down, and then he's talking nice. He's like, oh, these chairs are a little too small, and I can't get my arms in them. Like that. And I said, oh, these chairs are a little too big for me. I said, I turned it off the arms and I put it on the legs, and then I used it. But like, when I first walked in, I saw like the criminal face, okay, but then he was being nice, like, when I sat there. So I believe this is somebody, like, since they got the wiretap and they knew I now go to Planet Fitness, then they have their people in Planet Fitness, but they can't do anything to me in there. So are you going to see me use the massage chair? Maybe they're trying to find out more secret information. Like, no, when I go to the gym, I'm really just sitting in the massage chair. I'm not, like, doing magic spells while I'm in the massage chair. But they're, like, spying to see how am I still alive. It's because God is saving me. It's because God is protecting me. That's why. You know, I need to make a separate video on this. Like, the devil does not care about, you could say, his or her people. Like, there's no gender. There are devils of both genders. Like, my devil, I was, I guess, fake married to the devil, because I thought we were married. I was fake married to the devil for a long time. And when I moved here, and he was male, when I moved here, and he poisoned me, so one of my toenails stopped growing in. And so I don't get, like, my fingernails done or anything. But I get a fake toenail put on one of my toes because I was poisoned, and that toenail doesn't grow anymore. So it has to be pulled out again, I guess, for it to grow in. And you need health insurance or something. I don't want to do that. That was awful. Anyways, it'll get fixed later. So then I went there to get a fake toenail put on. You know, I don't want just like a little thing there. I actually want a toenail on my toe. Like, I don't want to look at that. So, and since it doesn't grow in, you know, I just get it put on, and then it just doesn't need to be redone. And so then when I went in, I saw like a female devil. It looked just like my male devil, except a female. So there is a male and female of like every being that is the same. And I saw mine. And when I walked past, they'll look at me like, ugh. I can't remember, just kind of look like that as I walked past. Just that look in the eyes, and I'm like, that is the female version of the devil I was with right there. Anyways, let's see. What? Oh, okay, so then, yeah, they're all spying on me. What the heck am I even talking about? I don't even know. Something. I went to the gym. They all go there trying to find out what I'm doing. And I'm really just going to the gym and mainly using the spa. I did not work out or anything. But it actually, even though it was really cold, it was like kind of sunny and nice. So I wanted to bike to the gym today. Like some days it has been overcast and kind of rainy several days, and then it snowed one day, and so today it was like kind of sunny, and so I wanna bike to the gym today, and so I made it there and back just in time. It was perfect. I didn't ask him if they had the video of that car trying to run me over. Maybe I should. Let's see. So I showed up at dinner. I was going real fast because I'm like going to run late. I'm like, oh no, I'm running late again. And I was like 1 minute late. As I walk in, the sermon just starts. And it's like pretty much the same sermon as earlier. So that was good. And then the guy, there was a good person there. And he's like, oh, I saw you're flying. I said, I want to be late. It's like, I'm going to be late. And then he's like, you got another half hour. And then I go in, and while I'm in line from behind, he's like, oh, I guess I was wrong. I thought, like, I thought it was 4, and it's 4:30. So, yeah, I made it just in time. Got my food. Now, when I got to the pizza, it was all pepperoni, but then the woman went to the other side, and she got some cheese just for me, put it on my tray. So I got a pink cupcake. They had 3 types of cupcakes. They had vanilla with sprinkles, chocolate, and pink. And actually, they normally ask you which one you want. And I was going to say, I want the pink one. Well, this day I get in line, they didn't ask, because she just puts the pink one right on my tray. And I think I know why. Because I think there's more men in there. And there was the same number of white, chocolate, and pink. And so she probably didn't want to give the pink ones to the boys. I wanted the pink one anyways. It looked more delicious. It was good. And so anyways, while I've been having these theological debates, I normally get seconds. I have not been getting seconds. We've been talking a lot. And then they actually had coffee again. They never have coffee for dinner. This was another thing keeping me talking longer. This has to be God. They never had coffee for dinner. Like, I've been going there a couple months. And the coffee is always gone. Like, it's there for lunch and then it's not there for dinner. But today, it was there. And then I got another one. And then we sat and talked longer. So this was probably to encourage me to stay longer and talk. And just answer more of his questions. And, like, you know, he's skeptical, but, like, he likes my answers. And I was like, you know, I can't make you believe. It's not up to me if you believe. You know, you want to know, pray and ask God, you know. I have to say some of that. But anyways, I told him I had been invited to this prayer thing that's going on, like, at 6:30, so there's probably something else going on. While I was there today for lunch and dinner, the serial killer was at the soup kitchen for lunch and dinner. And he had his purple bike this time. So for lunch he had the purple bike, and for dinner he had the black and yellow bike. He's got 2 bikes at his place. And so I don't know why this is. Now I at least know what it looks like, because it was just laying sideways before. But, I don't know if he's just trying to intimidate me or something, or, you know, because he actually stopped showing up for a few days. And then he started coming again, so maybe, I don't know. Because he is not, the police haven't gotten him. They're not trying to get him or anything. So then he probably realized, okay, it's probably okay if I come back to the soup kitchen again. So he's coming there, and he sits near me, though, is a thing that makes me think, like, he's sitting, like, you know how there's long tables? There's many of these long tables. Like, it's a pretty long cafeteria. And he'll sit, like, at the one that's right behind mine or something. So he's not sitting right next to me, but it's pretty close. And, like, when I went in to get the free breakfast at the church, then he sat at the table that was close to mine. So I think, like, maybe he's seeing, like, what's going on, seeing if he's allowed to come after me or something. I don't know. But, like, why would he sit so close to me? So that means that we have unfinished business. We do have unfinished business. But anyways, let's see, we had a long conversation. I was like, oh no, because it was like 5:20. They close at 5:30. I'm like, oh, they're going to start closing up. And so then I was going to head out. Then they have this, it's a prayer meeting type thing. It's seriously right across the street, like the next building over, where I just went on Saturday Night Live. Or not Saturday Night Live, on Saturday night I just went here, and then I was invited to their services tonight. And then I go outside, and someone has knocked my bike over. I know this was on purpose. It was probably Bike Man. But they have been watching those cameras in the office. They are watching those cameras. So if Bike Man went and tipped over my bike, that is recorded. Because, like, my nice vintage Trek, okay, that is now not usable, that bike it was a much better bike. But the thing is, the kickstand was old, and it wasn't put on, like, so there was no nut on the bottom. It loosened up a little bit, and the kickstand was a little too short. So the kickstand wasn't great. And if the wind did blow heavily, then the bike actually could tip over. I'm just going to say. This bike, it has a longer kickstand, and it doesn't loosen itself up. So for this to fall over, I believe it was intentionally knocked over or even laid on its side by someone else. And Bike Man's bike was, I didn't even see anyone. There might have been one other bike. There might have been 3 bikes there for dinner. And so when I came out, my bike was laying on the ground. So I believe that Bike Man knocked my bike over. And if he did, it's on camera. And that's fine. That's fine. Great. Wonderful. So when I came out, there was like 2 black men up on the, right when you come out, there's steps that go up, and there's a platform where you can stand, and there's an awning over it. So it's just a small little place. Some people smoke cigarettes there, so they're not in the rain. And, you know, people could just stand there and hang out for a minute, you know, before they go in. And, you know, there was just a couple guys up there, and then I came out, and I saw that my bike was tipped over. And I said, did you see anybody knock that over? And then they're like, oh, no, we didn't see anybody do that. And so I think they were probably telling the truth, because it didn't look like they were lying. Now, God could be veiling me, but the one man probably was kind of sent to get me, but not in a murder way, okay? This is another date way, a gateway. But then I just said no, and then he didn't, okay, he did again, but then stopped. So anyways, and I come out, this man was like 49, or no, he was 47, but he actually looked like he was 10 years older. But anyways, I asked him, and there was 2 guys out there, and they said they did not see anybody knock it over. They're just standing up there on the platform. You'd have to go down the stairs and then around to knock the bike over, and I guess, like, they didn't go down the steps yet, so, and they didn't see anybody knock it over. So it was probably Bike Man, the serial killer. So, and he's been sitting near me. But I didn't even, like, I was talking to the other guys, and we're getting into this conversation, and I didn't even really care. I didn't really even care. It's so cool. So anyways, like, he's kind of looking for some loophole to go ahead and try. Go ahead and try, because God won't let you. You don't understand. God won't let you. You know, whatever you want to do, God won't let you. So... let's see. Then I go down there to get the bike, and he, you know, we just say a couple of things back and forth. You know, he's like, oh, I saw you at the church I went to on Sunday. And I said, oh, I didn't realize. And he said, oh, you were busy talking to this other guy. And I was talking to the other guy. I said, oh, yeah, you know, I said, there's a lot of people, and I don't know, you know. And we say a few sentences back and forth, and he's like, are you single? Are you single? What? They didn't ask me this for they tried again. They didn't ask me for like a week or so. Now they've tried again. They've tried again. So I think the kingdom of darkness sends them, okay? And I know that he has, maybe not a lot of spirits, but he was smoking a cigarette. Now, that means you have a spirit if you are smoking cigarettes. There is a spirit of addiction. So even if he is not aware, that spirit could drive him to ask me. Because the spirit is trying to tie me down, okay? Even though he doesn't know, possibly he doesn't know why he feels this way. And it's because there's a spirit in him. Because if you're smoking a cigarette, then you have a spirit. Unless you just do it and then you don't need to do it. He was addicted to cigarettes, so that's what I'm saying. Anyone that is a smoker has spirits. You eat pork, you probably have spirits. Every single person probably, okay, it's much less than 1% have no spirits, is what I've seen. Less than 1%. Anyways, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just who I see. Maybe there are more good people. I just don't see them. God keeps them away. I don't know. But anyways, and I explained a little bit, I said, no, I said, the weirdest things people think is weird. So God showed me, I'm already married in heaven, but I'm single here, so I'm single but not available. And he did try again later. And then he was like, oh no, I understand. He was like, I understand. And then he was just by himself. So he was probably maybe sent after me on a mission or something. But everybody I run into is on purpose. So I didn't really feel uncomfortable with him. Like when he asked, he didn't push, is what I'm saying. And it was maybe like a half hour later or 20 minutes later he asked again. Okay, and then after I made that clear, then he did drop it. That's what I'm saying. So, anyways, I ended up inviting him to this prayer place where I had been invited. I said, I'm going here. It's at 6:30. It's like in an hour. I was invited here. Do you want to go? And then he comes with me, and it's like cold and just hanging around and stuff. And I say, yeah, it doesn't start for a while, but I didn't want to leave, and then come right back. So then we go inside, and before it starts, we're just talking for a while. And so we were supposed to talk because there were markers, there were numbers. First of all, his name was the name of an angel, but I don't necessarily think he is. I'm just saying, I don't know. But probably not, but you never know. But basically, I was hearing 17s from this man. Maybe they already know, But when I hear it, and I gotta look up, maybe he was lying to me too. But I think it was a conversation that was supposed to happen. He said he had worked for 7 years, and then he stopped, and then he had not worked after that for 17 years. And then, somehow it came up, visiting other places, or traveling to other places, and I said, well, what place do you like the best? And then he said, Utah, and then he was pulling up pictures on his phone, and he said that 1.7% of the people in Utah are black. And so this is a black man, so he mentions 1.7. 1.7. Anyways, apparently, I don't know, he could be lying to me, but apparently he had been in 3 bad relationships. He had, a bunch of kids with all different women, so who knows what's going on here. But anyways, he actually didn't seem like a bad person, though. It didn't seem like a bad person. And then there's just some interesting information. So when he came and he showed me the pictures, and because I heard those 17s, it was a conversation that was meant to happen. And then he showed me Wyoming, too. It's like, am I supposed to go on a trip here? Am I supposed to live here? Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I talked to him, and he showed me the pictures. I didn't see it. It looked really nice, actually. And I gave him some information, too, that I think was useful. And he did try to hit on me again. He said, maybe I'm your person. And he makes maybe I'm your person. I can't, it wasn't like that exaggerated, but it was pretty, it was a little complicated. And I said, no, they have the same frequency as you. But I wasn't offended. I didn't stop talking to him. I said, no, it's like they got the same frequency as you, but then you got a positive and negative. So I tried to make this clear. And so he tried again, and I said no, and then he didn't ask again. So he was clearly sent by the kingdom of darkness. But what ended up happening is he really enjoyed this church service. And I told him some information that he liked. And then they gave us little goodie baskets. They had some cookies and a journal and a reusable coffee cup that's shaped like a Starbucks container. I needed one of these. It was perfect. Because I would, back when I wasn't as broke, I would every couple weeks go and get a Starbucks cappuccino, and then I'd put my instant in it. This is shaped like that, except for you can actually wash it in a dishwasher, at least it says. So that was something I wanted. And we each got one. And then, so the woman that was there, and I asked her, like, about that prayer, how did you know what to pray about? Because you don't know me, and you don't know what I need. How did you know what to pray for? And it ended up, like, she said she's always had the gift of prophecy, and, like, she'll just start speaking. And she'll say things about people, and they're like, how'd you know that? They didn't tell her. So that was neat. It's either good or bad. I don't know. But anyways, I think she could be good. But she kind of rejected some of the things I said, or maybe she will be receptive later. I don't know. I don't know enough yet. But anyways, when this man who I invited to this, it's not quite a regular church service, because it's not quite a Bible study either. It's whatever, but it's more like people during this, they can start speaking, they can start reading, or they can start praying. Just anyone can. I observed, I didn't do anything. I didn't even have a Bible. I just had like a little pamphlet that I got at church, because I only had my small bag. So anyways, while I was talking to this one man, he showed me pictures of Utah. Then he showed me pictures of Wyoming. And then in the picture of Wyoming, he showed me a big snow-capped mountain. A big snow-capped mountain. And way back, and I have so many videos, I don't know if I could find it, but when I was very young, only maybe 4 or something, I had a dream. And I was like at the top of this mountain in like this office building, like there's like a computer, and I was like maybe talking to somebody, like an administrator. So it was just me and one other person, and the whole sides of this were like just big windows you could see through. And it was a big snow-capped mountain in this dream. So it was almost having to do with like my life plan before I came here. Because I was an adult in this dream, but in my human life I was a very young child. And it was a snow-capped mountain. And then I saw his picture of Wyoming, and I said, what's the name of that mountain? I think that might have been the mountain in my dream. It might have. So maybe I'm supposed to go on a trip there. I don't know. Wow. So, I don't know. But he showed me Utah and Wyoming. That was pretty cool. And, let's see here. Then we did like the little service thing. We're actually sitting in a room. Like, this place was so comfortable and relaxing. I really liked it. It was really nice. There's a lot of alternative people there, so I just don't know. Like, is this witches here? Are these believers here? They were praying, they were reading scripture. Maybe they're good people that, I don't know. Good people that aren't perfect. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I thought, like, that prayer the other day was great. But anyways, like, the room you first walk into, and it was nice and warm, but it wasn't too hot. It was, like, comfortable. And then the floor had, like, rugs on it, and there were soft couches, and it was kind of a smaller room. It was cozy, and there was a coffee machine. I didn't realize we went through the door into another room for the actual prayer. That room was so comfortable, and they had the lights kind of dimmed, and there was a little kid in there playing. It was nice, like you want to come to somebody's house and hang out when it's like that. And then went in the other room, and the lights are dim, and there was like some like fake candle flickering or something, but it was nice environment, like, and they were praying. And then the floor was carpet, and like one woman was sitting on it, another one was laying, and then I was sitting on it. The chairs were like in a circle, and I just had my feet on the carpet, and like I could have just fallen asleep. Like, it was like nice and warm, perfect temperature, carpet, lights were dim, it was comfortable, it was not stressful. It's like, I would like if regular church was a bit more like that, I'm just gonna say. It's like, if I had a blanket, I just wanted to go to sleep. So it was really nice in that way. And then, but I didn't have anything to say really at that time. I was observing. I didn't know what would be appropriate. I guess reading any scripture or doing any prayer or talking about your life. They also talk about what's going on in their life. So, but it was just so relaxing and so comfortable in there. And then they got like coffee and tea and stuff. And they gave us a goodie bag. It was really nice. But at the end of that, I said a few things, and I said, yeah, this guy tried to kill me twice last week, and I said, and then the woman was like, and you're afraid of that? I said, no, not really. I mean, people, these people try to kill me, and God protects me. But and I told her a few other things, and then she kind of didn't believe it at first. And I said, oh well, it actually, like I was saying how. Something actually meant something else, and you could interpret it another way, and how God wants to surprise. I was just telling her a few things, and since it wasn't in the Bible, she was kind of turned off from it. But then she might have been open to looking into it. I said, eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. God wants to surprise us with things. So there's we're given information that's beyond what's in the Bible, and you don't have to. I didn't say any of this to her, but it's like, you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but I'm just telling you what God showed me. So God showed me this and that, and it's like, well, there's a scripture that says that. I said, yeah, that actually means this, and it could be interpreted that way. It's just that no one ever says it that way. It's misused, and it's a parable. Anyways, but she was getting a little standoffish when I mentioned into that stuff, but but it was nice. I got a cup of coffee, and before I headed out, she sure don't mind. And I said, I'm on a bike, so it's like, this will help keep me awake. I'm really tired. It's so comfortable in there. I like to come back next week. I would. It was almost like kind of, there wasn't a whole bunch of people in there. Like one of the women's got the tightest shirt, and she's nice, and it just got kind of like a hippie vibe. And so I don't know. Are these people tricking me? Because it's like, I don't know. They're either good, or they are more witches pretending to be good. I don't even, because God bails me sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. But it was so comfortable and nice in there. I would like to come back. Let's see. And I try not to judge people. It's just everybody that I meet seems to be compromised and try to get me. So everybody tries to get me, so I automatically assume you're probably an enemy. And when I see something suspicious, then I don't trust it until proven otherwise. Okay. Let's see here. There was a few things mentioned during the. So they had some relaxing music going, and then there'd be some moments of just with some kind of quiet background music, and then a minute later somebody would say something else, and it was just really calm, and just meditating a little bit, and I was like, I could just fall asleep. They covered something in the Psalms, and how Elijah was he was the only one, but then God showed him there was more than 7,000 other people. He thought he was the only one. And then, during this, somebody said, thank you, King, probably referring to Jesus, wants to partner with us. And then I had this devotional I got from the other church. I went to a completely different Lutheran church over the weekend, because they had a free chili meal. And they gave me a little pamphlet with devotions or how to pray or stuff like that in it. I still don't really understand what a devotion is. I guess it could be a prayer. I don't know. Devotional. I don't know what that means. Or it's like a little story that you tell. But anyways, then I was looking through this, during, because when people were, in the prayer circle, there's just periods where no one was talking. I was looking at it. And then I'm on this page, and it says, because they have a new one for each day, and it says Sunday, February 22nd. So that's 222. And then it says, my house is called a house of prayer, but it's desecrated, it's become a house of robbers, essentially. But anyways, I kid you not, this building, so I'm going to say, the building that I went into, the side where you go in, so the window on the room we went in, it's got big letters, put on that window. Big letters. So, the name of this side of the building is House of Prayer. And they got a big, I don't know what you call a decal, huge. It's professionally done. So there's a big window along there, and then it has House of Prayer in large letters on that window. And then I got to the devotional pamphlet, and it's just 2, so February 2, and the day was 22. and it said my house was called House of Prayer. This building, the room we were in, so the building, this area was called House of Prayer. This room had House of Prayer on it. And this Bible verse was Mark 11:17. So then I wrote this down. Another 17 and 2 22s. So is this a good sign or bad? Because it says it was desecrated. But maybe Jesus' house was called a house of prayer, and this a house of prayer. So it could be good or bad. I don't know. And then I was just looking through the devotional, and then I got to March 7th, so I didn't read all of the pamphlet. I was just kind of looking at it as it's quiet, and then it said March 7th. The verses were Revelation 7:13 through 17. And then it said, surely I am coming soon. Okay, so this is weird. I could pull out the little devotional pamphlet. But basically at the top it has the date. So each day you got a new devotional. It's just a little pamphlet. So on the day of March 7th, 7 is another God number. Then it had Revelation 7:13 through 17 right below the date and stuff. And then the verse, but I don't know why, maybe that was the context, but then the verse was, surely I am coming soon. We know what this is talking about. I am coming soon. And the verse was Revelation 22:20. Anyways, but yeah, we talked a little bit, and then, after I'd finished my cup of coffee, then I biked back, and the other man, he walked, and he said, he's like, thanks for inviting me. He seemed to really enjoy it, and he's going to come back next week, so that's good. If he was sent to get me, it's just like God uses all things for good. If he was sent to get me, he tried to date, they haven't tried to date me in a while. Well, actually, maybe the other guy tried again, or he did a little, he was going to curse me with his handshake, and then he tried to curse me by saying, your horoscope is this, well, that means this, this, and this. He said the negative things, like, oh, I couldn't really hear what he was saying, but I could tell he was saying insulting things about my horoscope, and I said, I don't really believe that. But then when he came and sat next to us for lunch, so I talked to the other guy for a long time, and then later on, this same man came and sat near us, and then I invited him in, and then we talked a little bit, and I said, hey, I looked up that horoscope thing, and it says that Cancers are moody and pessimistic and secretive. And I don't remember what else. and he was fine with this. And I said, but I don't really believe that. And then the guy I was talking to was like, and I don't believe that either. But I said this because, like the Quran says, when they attack you, you attack them back in the same way. So he tried to speak a word curse over me by saying, because I'm a Virgo, and these are the negative traits of Virgos. He was trying to basically cast that spell over me and say I'm this. And I said, I don't really believe that. And then I didn't know what the negative traits of his sign were, so I just looked him up on the internet. And so when he came to sit near us today, I had remembered a few of them. I didn't need to pull up a list. I said, it said that these ones are moody, pessimistic, and secretive. Oh, I forgot manipulative. That one just came, but then we just kept going. Nobody stopped, but because he just did it to me, so then I do it back. This is the Islamic and Christian way. This is actually what we are supposed to do. Like, turn the other cheek was an insult. It was like an insult, almost like flipping somebody off, okay? I'm just going to say. Maybe not quite the same, but it's not like, please slap this side too. It was more like, giving somebody the finger than like, please hit the other side of my face too. Anyways, a lot of this stuff is misused, so that's why the Quran is sent to tell you, this is how you handle a disbeliever. When they attack you, you don't attack them first. This is what the Quran says. You do not attack them first. But once they attack you, you attack them back in the same exact way. If you don't, then they're going to keep going, okay? And they're going to win, because they're going to do worse things. If you don't do to them what they do to you, they're going to keep attacking you. But if you do to them what they do to you, they might stop, because they don't like it. They're doing it because they know you don't like it. They don't like it either. So if you're taking casualties, they're taking casualties. And you're supposed to infiltrate and convert them into believing in God and being a good person, giving to charity, being nice to others, okay? Then you convert them. While they're in disbelief, they get less punishment for crimes than a believer does. A believer is held to a higher standard. It's just, everything is completely fair. Like, it's amazing. Anyways, so this I am coming soon. Who is coming soon? Who is coming soon? Jesus Christ, the 144. There's not like a consensus belief on this. There are different. I think all of them, and maybe they are already here. Would you recognize if they were already here? Say, I know the 144 are here. Would you recognize if Jesus was here? Because not everybody recognized Jesus when he was on the earth thousands of years ago. In fact, most people did not recognize him, but some did. The demons and devils knew who he was, but a lot of the regular people had no idea. That's why they wanted to murder him. They didn't recognize, they didn't know who he was. So if he was alive today, no one would know who he was. Okay, few people would know who he is. Most people would not know who he is. And the devils would know who he is. And the churches, mosques, and synagogues would not like him. That's all I'm saying. So anyways, wow. So I had 17s and then the 22s, and this is wild. Got home, love my dogs. I'm trying to think if something else happened. Yeah, I think it did. I just can't even remember. No, there was something weird on the road today. Like when I was going to leave the soup kitchen to go to the gym, where I normally go, there was so much construction and like a crane and stuff going on there, and the whole road there was blocked off. So that was kind of weird. And, they probably were doing something, but, like, I don't know what's going on. And also, last night, after I recorded the video, there's a bunch of police cruisers zipped by. Like a bunch. And they got something. It was like 4 of them at least. And then I heard them going around for a while, and I heard them start to come back later. And I recorded this separately. But I didn't catch it when it happened. It was so fast. By the time I pull up my video editor, and I try to click play, like, they just went flying down my street. And it's like somebody nearby. They got some people close to my house. So I think they were coming for me. I am serious. And I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this. So yesterday, on my way back home, I saw, it was like in the teens. Like, it was like 20 degrees, but with a lot of wind. It was freezing outside. And I guess walking, it's not as cold. But on the bike, I was, like, really cold. And then I am, like, within a block of my house. And I see, like, 4 young black men kind of walking around and canvassing. It looks like they are canvassing the area. It is too cold for people to be playing and frolicking in the snow. There is no snow to frolic in. There's just, like, a little bit on the ground. Not enough to make a snowman, I don't think. But anyways, it looked like they were canvassing the area. Probably looking for me, is what I thought. And I saw them. And they were right next to my house. And I did not go around the back alley. I pulled right into my driveway while they were watching. And that night, police cruisers zipped past my house. So I think they got some people sent to take a hit on me. As I say, there was it's a cute woman, a cute black woman. She looks like a college student with like prep clothes on, okay? This is the head witch with the stack of cash in her hands. She hired the thugs to try to kill me. So she's got all the hitmen. Okay, you see this? You see how I look? She kind of looked like this, but like as a black woman. I'm saying, like, see how cute, short, She had kind of that look, okay? And she had nice clothes on that would look like kind of a preppy college student, okay? She looked like a sweet, okay? And she is the head witch. She paid all the hitmen. And I even mentioned this today, that the women are paying the men to go and do their dirty work. That's what they do. It's like the women tell them what to do, and then they have the men go and do the dirty work. Yeah, they do. But anyways, so God is going to take them all out. I am the bait. I am the bait. They come and get me. This reminds me of the Thanksgiving Day meal in the parking lot. So there was a free community meal for Thanksgiving. And then that night, people met in the parking lot of the soup kitchen, which was closed, and they brought in their own leftovers and shared them. And so when I was there for like a half hour, an hour or so, and then another man showed up, and he was a young man, and there was something wrong with his legs. He had been shot, and I think and I can't really remember, but one of his relatives or something was killed by a shooting. And I remember that. Okay, I don't remember the details because, see, he was talking to another woman, which I now think was a reporter for the local news. She showed up and then took a video. I think I was on that video. He was talking to the reporter was talking to him the whole time. Here's this young man, looked like he's in his early 20s. And I don't know if he had like a kind of a walker thing, like he could walk but not very well yet, or something. He had been shot. And then he mentioned, I think he said his brother was shot and killed. It was probably by these gang members. Because this woman is the one that pays him. And then they were trying to get me, and then they get taken out. God destroys them. So if they were sent, these are hitmen, and they shot this young man that was in the soup kitchen parking lot on Thanksgiving night. I saw him there talking to the reporter, and they killed his brother. Well, maybe they are dead now, or at least they're in prison. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I know what God is doing. I know what God is doing. So, I mean, it was like really sad, and he seemed like a sweet guy, and he wasn't even like what I mean is he was handling it so well. So, I mean, they'll be able to heal that I would say probably within the next 10 years he can be healed. But it doesn't bring back, your family that's been killed. So, that is sad. But he was just nice, and he wasn't crying or anything, and just calm, and, just a good disposition. So, but probably the same people that shot him and killed someone that he cared about were sent after me, but they didn't get me. No, they are all going to be taken out, and the city is going to be cleaned up. Because God doesn't play. God doesn't play about the remnant. As you come for us, and God strikes you down. Okay, so I'm sure there's more, but that's enough for now. Thanks for watching. God bless you.